Good morning. My name is Dick Paulsen. I'm a lifelong Cincinnatian and a business executive, a parent. I'm a past ProKids board president. I'm a current Friends of Children Society member, and after the ceremony you just watched, a ProKids CASA volunteer. I'm a little anxious about the last part because despite all the training, it gives me pause to become the person a child will depend on directly. But there is one thing that reassures me, and it's the simple truth that ProKids works. From my personal experience with ProKids and from looking at the issue in a practical way, not only does ProKids work, it focuses on a critical challenge, and that is abused and neglected children in our community need our help. Look at the national statistics. More than half of the children who are abused fall behind in school. They're more likely to become delinquent or truant. Fewer than 60% ever complete high school. And remarkably, 80% of the prison population was once in foster care. And I would point out that the state of Ohio bears the cost of roughly $26,000 a year for each incarcerated inmate. ProKids is one of the very few organizations that directly advocates for these innocent victims in our community, and no one is more effective in speaking up for them. I choose to support ProKids because the vision is compelling, the approach is proven, and because of ProKids and because of their efforts, our community will be stronger. ProKids' vision is a safe, permanent, and nurturing home for every child. Our children need a future that's bright and secure. To make that happen, ProKids speaks up for children in court, in school, and in foster homes. They work with families troubled by cycles of abuse and neglect, drugs, mental illness, hopelessness, and poverty. These children are our children, wounded, abused, neglected, hurt. They're in the custody of our county, our community. They're dependent on us. They deserve a chance, and they need something to change. For more than 30 years, ProKids has been on a relentless drive to achieve the vision of a safe, permanent, and nurturing home for every child. And to that end has developed a holistic, thoughtful approach to serving our children. It starts with an advocacy team, a tactical combination of a staff attorney who is expert in child protection law, combined with a staff CASA manager who is expert on advocacy for children within the social service system. These passionate staff members are teamed with a CASA volunteer who is trained to become an expert on the children themselves. These volunteers make an extraordinary commitment, giving their time, often measured in years, to children who need someone to speak up for them. Like many of us who expect to see a return on our investment, our outcome measure, tracked for over a decade, are the proof that ProKids works, that lives are changed for the better. ProKids advocacy teams get results. 99% of the children who have a ProKids advocacy team are safe, both when their case is open and when their case closes. This means there is not a recurrence of abuse and neglect for these children. But it's not enough for the children to be safe. They have to know stability, that there will be a grown-up there for them day in and day out. While their cases are open, 81% of the children who have a ProKids advocacy team have this kind of stability. They're not moving between foster homes or from a foster home to a group home or to a more restrictive environment. More importantly, the stability continues after the cases close. 100% of these children are in a placement that remains intact. This means all those children who have had such disruption in their lives are living in a situation that is finally stable. One of the most important ways we can change a child's life is to make sure they receive the right kind of educational services. The ProKids advocacy team monitors the important educational milestones for these children. For the youngest children, are they making developmental strides like walking and talking? For elementary students, are they working at grade level? And are high school students on track to graduate? 93% of the children served by an advocacy team are meeting these goals. And if they're not, ProKids has access to a number of services to help children get back and stay on track. Finally are the measures that are most important to our children. A family to call their own. Children who have a ProKids advocacy team are very likely to be placed with their siblings, very likely to live in a permanent, safe home when the case closes. In most cases, this means returning to a parent, a relative, or a family friend. For others, it means adoption. But for 87% of these children, it means that they now live in a forever family kind of home. Now, these outcomes indicate how effective an advocacy team is when it works on behalf of a child. Costing $2,500 a year, it's a tremendous bargain compared to what the costs were if we did not intervene. Children can be safe. They can have a chance. It all starts with those children having a responsible advocate, maybe for the first time in their lives. Often the well-intentioned caseworkers who interact with them are overburdened. Their numbers have been slashed by budget cuts, while the number of children in Hamilton County's child protection system has increased to about 2,700. CASA volunteers can put the interest of the child first, and what a powerful way to create change, to make things better, one child at a time. I think we can all agree that when children are safe and in secure homes, they do better in schools. And when they do better in schools, they become better community members themselves. They become better mothers and fathers and customers and voters and employees. Creating this reality for Cincinnati is our opportunity now. As a friend of children, you fund the committed and passionate staff that works for our children. You fund the training and support that enables volunteers like me to feel up to the task to speak for children. And you fund the continued efforts of ProKids to work within the child protection framework to improve the lives of all 2,700 of children in the system each year, to serve as the eyes of the community, and to provide leadership to speak up for children. By being a friend of children, you invest in the promise of our children. As a friend of children, you create a new cycle of growing up safe and secure. And we do this one child at a time. One of my favorite fables is known as the starfish story, and it goes something like this. Early one morning, a man was walking down the beach. Further on the beach, he saw a boy who was picking something up, reaching in the sand, picking something up and throwing it back in the surf. As the man got closer, he saw that the boy was picking up one of hundreds of starfish that lay on the beach, washed up by the tide. Again and again, he would pick up a single starfish and throw it back in the surf. The man asked the boy what he was doing. "The sun's coming up," he said. "If they don't go back in the ocean, they will die." "But there's so many starfish lining this beach," the man responded, "you can't possibly make a difference." Picking up another starfish, and just before throwing it in the sea, the boy looked at the man and said, "It makes a difference to this one." We can all be friends of children. One child at a time, we can break the generational cycle of abuse and neglect. One child at a time, we can make this a better community. The following story puts a face on what we've been talking about. Here's how the arc of one girl's life was changed forever. How one CASA volunteer could make that impact, and how we, working together, can nurture a single child to make our community better, stronger. We made a difference to this one. Thank you.